Good afternoon. Hi, I hope you're well. I'm good. I'm sitting on the stairs. I know, and there is a reason for that. What day is it? It's Friday. It's Friday and it is the beginning of my annual leave. So I've got all next week off, which is really good. And I am yet again doing DIY. I've been sort of working my way around the house doing various things, and I've sort of reached the stairs again because I did the walls not so long ago. They need a little bit more, I think. There's a couple of patches that I missed, but painting white onto white is so challenging. It really is, especially with my eyesight. But yeah, I've reached the staircase and I've spent this morning sanding down all the surfaces because it's due for a repaint. But I want to do something a little bit different this time. So when we moved in, which was 17 years ago, there were carpets absolutely everywhere. Carpets and dado rails everywhere. And this had a red carpet, which wasn't horrific, but it kind of looked a bit like a pub carpet. It had a sort of little orange fleck in it, a little pattern to it. So it wasn't like a regal red carpet, it was a bit pubby, which wasn't our taste. So one of the first things we did was to remove all the carpets from everywhere. And this had over 100 years worth of paint layers on it. So we lived with it for a while. We lived with all of our floors really dirty and scruffy because we didn't have the time or the energy to strip them. But eventually I got around to doing all the floors. I hired a sanding machine and did them all. But of course you can't really do a staircase with a sanding machine. You can do it with a small sander, but those big sanders simply won't do a staircase. So I stripped this by hand and I scraped most of the paint off and sanded them down with a hand sander. And then we lived with that for a while, and I wasn't really a fan of bare wood, so I decided to paint it. And I gave the stairs themselves, the steps, a sort of pale wash, as you can see. And I painted all of these in white. Now, I mean, this is really old wood. And, you know, it's got a few cracks in places. That doesn't particularly bother me. It shows the age of the wood. So I've decided to add some colour. And I did a little bit of research, and there's all sorts of things you can do to staircases. I've even seen these stick-on tiles that look like ceramic sort of Moroccan tiles, which I thought about, but that's going to cost probably 60 or 70 quid to do the whole staircase. And then of course you're not guaranteed that you're really going to enjoy it. They might look good on camera, on Pinterest, but you don't know whether you're going to actually like that look when push comes to shove. So I've decided to do some alternate colours on the risers, but I haven't actually got any coloured paint. So I thought, how can I do this? I've got a huge tin of white satin. Not my favourite finish, but I can always make it matte using a varnish, which I've got. But I've decided to mix my own colours because I've got a whole set of acrylics, which are also water-based, and the satin paint is water-based. So I'm going to mix 3 colours and transform this staircase. So The first thing I need to do is get some colours mixed. That's going to be a little bit tricky because it involves pouring paint into containers and mixing without spilling anything, which is a bit difficult with big tins of paint. If you've ever had to tip them into smaller containers, it's fiddly. So let's have a look at me doing that. I'm in the dining room. So I've covered the table with some plastic, dust sheet, and I've got a few bits and pieces. I've got 3 jars because I'm going to do 3 colours. And I want to save the colours for touch-ups. Yeah? So that's important. If you're going to create your own colour, you need to make sure you're saving some for the future. Glass jars, great. Okay, I've got a jug, although I'm not sure what I'm going to use that for. I've got a plastic cup, which I'm hoping to use to dip into the paint to pour it into the jars. I think I'm going to mix straight into the jars, actually. I think that's the best idea. I'm doing this off the cuff. I have no experience whatsoever. And here are my acrylics. I have researched that if you use a water-based paint, it should mix fine. So, in terms of making the colours I want, and I kind of want aquas, grey-green, sagey green type colour, I think I'm going to pull out, yellow, blue, green, and black, I think. Yeah? I don't know. I do remember, how colours sort of work, but I haven't done this for such a long time. Screwdriver to open the tin of paint. Oh, and some gloves. I better get some gloves. I've got some gloves. Right. So, I guess the first thing that we need to do is fill these jars. Are they clean? Yes, they are. Yeah, they're clean. Can you see that? Yeah. Right, I have given this a good shake. I know you're not supposed to shake it, but I always do. I don't know why they always use metal tins for this kind of paint. Okay, it's good. I will just give it a good stir. I think I'd better get a cloth. Not prepared, Richard, not prepared. The good thing about using water-based paint is it does come out of things if you do accidentally spill it. The oil-based paint, that is a complete disaster if you spill that. I knew someone once that spilt a whole tin of paint over a piece of carpet, had to have a whole new carpet. That's why I'm taking no chances with this. Right, okay. Good, so let's begin the experiment. I'm going to start off with some blue and some yellow. It does take quite a while when you're mixing paint. I remember my dad using stains, paint stains, to get the colour that he wanted. So it does take a good while. That's a very pale, pale blue. I don't know whether you can see that. I'm going to add some yellow. I'm going to add some emerald. You can see that it's quite attractive actually. It's sort of like a pale, slightly vibrant sage. But I want it a little bit dirtier than that, so I'm going to add a little bit of black. Actually, I might add a little bit of brown. Burnt umber. I think some more blue. A little bit more of this green, because that's quite a vibrant emerald green. And I think a little bit more brown. It's getting to the grey green that I want. Maybe not as strong as I'd like it. So I want to go for this one as the strongest one of the lot. So I'm going to squeeze more blue, quite a generous amount of blue. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow. Oh yeah, just be bold now, Richard, just be bold. Oh yeah, that's stronger. That's definitely stronger. Spill it on the floor, Richard. I think we're there. Stronger, Richard, maybe stronger. That's more like it. Stronger sage. Lovely. Perfect. That's one colour done. This one's a more sort of vibrant colour. I think a little bit more emerald. Yeah, that's quite nice. Hope you can see that. I don't know whether you can. It's a sort of pale fresh green. Lovely. That one's done. And then finally this one. I want this to be more of a grey. So I'm going to add black. Oh yeah. And I'm going to add just a touch of green and blue. I don't want these colours too dark because I like the way the staircase is quite a light area, even though it's only got that one window at the top. Yeah, I think that'll do. It's a nice grey. Done. I've got my colours. So this is the before. And here we have the finished staircase. I'm really pleased with it. It's really transformed how it looks, so I'm delighted. I think those three colours work really well together. Great, so thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon.